There was a man that told his story of his encounter with deportation agents. And since we just talked about Donald Trump and how he wants to send off American citizens next, because he was trolling when he said it before, but now that he's trying to make it become policy, who cares, right? This young man told his story of being hemmed up by ICE agents and what they did to him. And I want you guys to see how much he shook and understand and ask yourself if this happened to you or looking at who he is, would you ever trust any of these positions of authority again? Or would you have your guard up at all times? Watch this story.
So I'm here with my nephew, Adriel Lorenzo, who was born here, U.S. citizen, born in the United States, in Brooklyn, New York. In fact, I was behind the ambulance when my sister was going to give birth with him at Long Island College Hospital in downtown Brooklyn. Today, this morning, on his way from work, a U.S. citizen, and this is happening, people, pay attention, a U.S. citizen was stopped by ICE and harassed. 8 officers surrounded him, asked him if he had a fake ID when he presented his state ID and his driver's license. They cut up illegally his legal state ID and asked him if it was a fake driver's license. They detained him unlawfully without probable cause, just getting out of his car, coming off from work, working with children that he works with, going into 7-Eleven. I'll let him tell you how he feels. Adriel, how did you feel at that time? What power did you think you have?
Well, you don't have no power. You can't defend yourself. Everything going around with them talking about you're powerless when there's people surrounding you and they're saying that they can shoot you down and all they will give you is your remains to your family. It makes you scared. You can't say nothing. If you curse the cops out, they can take you down. They said that my documents were fake. They asked for a green card. They asked me many times where I was from, what's my ethnicity. It was like if it was racial profiling. I got stopped for absolutely no reason. I did nothing. When I was there, you feel scared, you feel hopeless. You don't have your phone. You can't call nobody. You don't have your wallet. They took both of my identifications, cut it up. They cut my ID up. They told me my driver's license was fake. And my driver's license was just renewed and issued about a month ago. So I have no idea inside of Florida, the back of Florida's IDs have a little picture to determine that your ID is real or if it's fake. For them to, what happened was just, it's a lot. So
how long did they hold?
About 35 to 40 minutes.
What happened when they released you?
They basically said that you need to carry all your documents to have your social security card, and I need to be more careful going forward and not to be carrying 2 identifications.
What is it illegal to carry 2 identifications?
Yes, 2 identification cards. That's what they said.
Did they told you it was illegal?
They said it was illegal.
It is not. It is not. I have my passport card and I have my driver's license.
But I had my
There's no statute. That's okay. There's no statute that says that it's illegal in the state of Florida or any place that I know in the U.S. to carry multiple IDs. In fact, it's better to carry more than that's sufficient.
Why did they cut up my ID?
That's a great question. We need to find out. Did you have the names? Did anybody call any of them by names? Do you remember?
I don't remember any of them.
Okay. All right. I understand. What happened when you got in the car? What happened when you got back in the car? How did you feel? What did you do?
I panicked and I called my uncle, and I cried for a while, and I was just scared to even drive home because imagine you getting stopped again. There's ICE checkpoints all over. They're checking random cars. They're stopping people because they have temporary tags in their cars because they think they're...
Did you have temporary tags?
No. I had a Florida tag, and the car's actually registered to my mom.
I know.
She's an American citizen as well.
Right.
So,
folks, I'm just sharing the story with you because it's important that people know exactly what's going on here. U.S. citizens, law-abiding U.S. citizens who were being stopped without any probable cause, no infraction, there wasn't a traffic violation, it's simply profiling. They stopped a U.S. citizen born in Brooklyn, New York, and I can testify. My name is Dr. Alberto Alexander. I was there when he was born in Long Island College Hospital. To my sister, this is what's happening. We have to let people know because this is coming into a police state and we are all under siege.
So that guy was born in Brooklyn, New York. That was his uncle that was narrating and recording there. I assume the same uncle that he called before he got back in his car and was afraid to drive and cried. So this guy is one of the people that they're calling a drug dealer, a rapist, a murderer, a violent criminal. They have to sweep up off the streets. This is the guy that provided them with two pieces of identification and probably shouldn't have, before they then destroyed those pieces of identification so they could probably claim later he had no identification on him. So therefore, we had to take him in. Held this man for 35 to 45 minutes and harassed him, made him feel like he had zero rights, is what he said. They make you feel like you don't have any control over your life. They threatened his life. If you do this, that, or the third, they can kill you. They come out with long war style guns. They come up and tell you what you're going to do with your life as a free American citizen living here, born here, because they feel they can do whatever the hell they want. This is the militarized state. This is Donald Trump's gang that has been unleashed on American streets. Have you guys seen some of these videos? I did it on a previous video as well when they're what they're doing in Los Angeles. Run up on people, bang on their windows, and tell them what to do. Masks on their faces and guns in front of them. Bulletproof vests and war helmets on their dumbass heads. But again, Donald Trump just told you we're coming for who he deems criminals next.
We also have a lot of bad people that have been here for a long time. People that whack people over the head with a baseball bat from behind when they're not looking and kill them. People that knife you when you're walking down the street. They're not new to our country. They're old to our country. Many of them were born in our country. I think we ought to get them the hell out of here too. You want to know the truth. So maybe that'll be the next job that we'll work on together. But I think getting them out, we forget about them. We had some bad accidents in New York.
And these ICE agents deemed this guy a criminal because he's brown skinned and didn't have temporary tags, but they're pulling over other people for temporary tags because that's what they do. Their job is not to enforce the law, their job is to break the law in favor of this Nazi regime's objectives. This aspect headed by Tom Homan and Stephen Miller to have this quota of sending anybody that they don't like because they're too brown or maybe too poor the hell out of this country, to where who knows? And if they have the right documentation, who cares? We're Nazis. We do this. We send people away for living, existing, and driving and going to work and looking for work. So again, don't be surprised when or if they decide to continue this march toward full-on authoritarianism where you have no rights, you have no means to purchase anything, prices continue to go up as they take away your health care and you die from those types of issues that you pay for. So people who pay for this health care will die because they want to send more people out of the country because they're huge, bigoted racists with very, very small souls. They're the most inferior people in the world. That's why they have to do all this pumping up to go after other people who have normalcy and culture and lives. These folks don't have one.